James Walker had lived most of his adult life in survival mode. A single dad raising his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, he worked 2 jobs, one at a delivery warehouse during the day, and another as a night janitor at a corporate office. Every morning he walked Lily to school, holding her tiny hand, trying to shield her from the harshness of the world he carried on his shoulders. Their little apartment was old, the rent overdue, and the fridge rarely full. But James made sure Lily always had what she needed. If there was only one meal, she ate it. If there was only one jacket, she wore it. He couldn't give her a perfect life, but he could give her love, safety, and honesty. One cold Monday morning, James grabbed a cheap breakfast sandwich, the only food he could afford that day. It was supposed to be his only meal until late evening. He stood outside the cafe checking the time, making sure Lily wasn't late for school. That's when he saw her, an elderly woman sitting on the sidewalk, trembling, clothes muddy, eyes hollow with hunger. She wasn't begging. She was simply staring at the ground, as if the world had forgotten she existed. Something in her expression froze James in place, a loneliness he recognized too well. "Daddy, is she okay?" Lily whispered beside him. James knelt down. "Sweetheart, stay right here." He slowly approached the woman. "Mom, are you hungry?" She lifted her face, a face carved by years of pain, and nodded weakly. James looked at the sandwich in his hand. Then he looked at Lily. For a moment he hesitated, but only for a moment. He placed the warm sandwich gently into the woman's hands. "This is for you," he said softly. "Eat slowly." The woman's eyes glistened, and for the first time that morning, her body stopped shaking. "Bless you," she whispered. "Bless your little girl." James smiled, though his stomach tightened with hunger. He returned to Lily, who simply wrapped her arms around her father's waist. "Daddy," she said, "you're the best person in the world." But the rest of the day did not go well. His boss yelled at him for arriving 5 minutes late. His extra shift request was denied. And by evening he was dizzy from hunger. He picked up Lily, still smiling, pretending the world wasn't heavy. Over the next few weeks, James forgot about the woman. Life demanded too much of his attention. Overdue bills, school fees, groceries, and a harsh landlord who seemed ready to kick them out any day. But destiny had not forgotten him. 3 weeks after that morning, when James arrived home exhausted from work, he found 3 unfamiliar luxury cars parked near his building. 2 sharply dressed men in black suits were waiting by the stairs. "James Walker?" the taller one asked. James froze. "Yes. Is something wrong? Did something happen to my daughter?" "No, sir," the man said with a respectful nod. "We're attorneys. We represent a client who wishes to speak with you." James blinked in confusion. "Represent who?" Before they could answer, a familiar elderly woman stepped forward, the same woman he had given his breakfast to. But now she wasn't shivering on a sidewalk. She wore an elegant coat, her hair clean, her posture straight, and her eyes bright with dignity. "It's you," James whispered. She smiled kindly. "My name is Margaret Hale, and you, James Walker, changed my life when no one else would even look at me." James didn't understand. His stomach knotted. Lily peeked out from behind him. Margaret knelt to Lily's height. "Your father has a heart of gold, and I intend to repay what he gave me." James held up his hands. "Please, you don't owe us anything." "Oh, but I do," she replied. "More than you know." The lawyers stepped closer, holding documents. "Mr. Walker," one said, "Mrs. Hale is the sole owner of Hale Industries, an asset portfolio valued at over $180 million. James nearly dropped to the floor. What? She's millionaire?" Margaret touched his arm gently. "When you found me, James, I'd run away from my own family after a series of betrayals. I wanted to see if humanity still existed somewhere. And you gave me something priceless, kindness without expectation." He stood speechless, unable to process it. Margaret's voice softened. "I want to change your life, and I will." Lily held her father's hand, sensing something big was happening, but not understanding what. James felt the world spin around him. "Ma'am, I can't accept money from you. We just helped because it was the right thing to do. And that," Margaret said gently, "is exactly why you deserve it." The lawyers opened a folder filled with documents. "Mr. Walker, Mrs. Hale has arranged a complete Financial transformation for you and your daughter. A fully paid home, a new job position, education funds, medical insurance. This is not charity. It is a decision she personally insists upon. James shook his head, overwhelmed. I don't understand. Why me? Margaret took his hands in hers. When I was sitting on that sidewalk, hundreds of people passed me. Some looked disgusted. Most ignored me. But you, a man who had so little, gave your only meal away. You showed compassion in a world starving for it. James felt tears rising, but he fought them back. He looked down at Lily, thinking about the nights she slept without dinner, the birthdays he couldn't afford to celebrate, the quiet moments he spent apologizing to himself for not giving her more. Was this really happening? Margaret continued. I lost faith in humanity. You restored it. Over the next hour, the lawyers explained everything. Margaret had purchased a small but beautiful home for James and Lily, a place near Lily's school with a yard, sunlight, and enough space for her to grow and dream. She had also offered James a managerial position at one of her companies, with a salary that would finally allow him to breathe. After so many years of suffocation, I don't have experience managing, he stuttered. Margaret chuckled. James, you've managed life harder than most executives, and I'll provide training. I believe in you. For the first time, he felt hope, a warm, unfamiliar feeling. The next day, they visited the new house. Lily ran through the rooms, laughing, touching the walls, opening every door. Daddy, we have a kitchen bigger than our whole old apartment, she shouted. James walked silently through the house, his eyes filling. He had always dreamed of giving Lily a home like this. But dreams were luxuries he couldn't afford. Margaret approached him. Do you like it? He swallowed hard. I don't even know how to thank you. Live a good life, she replied. That's all. Within days, James's transformation began. He started his new position, nervous, inexperienced, but determined. His new colleagues respected him, partly because of the CEO's recommendation, but mostly because James worked with sincerity and humility. Margaret visited often, guiding him step by step. Meanwhile, Lily flourished. Her new school recognized her talent in drawing. Her teachers praised her kindness. And for the first time in years, she stopped worrying every time she saw her father stressed or tired. But the biggest moment came at a grand company event, where Margaret introduced James publicly. This, she announced proudly, is the man who reminded me that humanity still has heroes, not the wealthy, not the powerful, but everyday people who choose kindness even when they have nothing to give. The room applauded, and James stood frozen, humbled. After the event, as the sun set behind the glass building, James turned to Margaret. You saved us. No, she said softly. You saved yourself long ago. I just helped the world see who you are. He hugged her, a warm, genuine embrace, and Margaret smiled like a grandmother finally reunited with family. Months passed. James became stable, confident, and respected. Lily grew bright, joyful, and safe in the world her father fought so hard to give her. And although life had never been easy for them, it had finally become beautiful. One evening, as James tucked Lily into bed, she whispered, Daddy, remember the day you gave your breakfast away? Yes, he replied. That's the day everything changed. You were hungry, but you still helped her. James kissed her forehead. Sweetheart, helping others will never make you poorer. It makes your heart richer. She smiled sleepily. Daddy! Yes? I want to be like you. And at that moment, James realized something. The world rewards kindness, sometimes immediately, sometimes years later, and sometimes when you expect it least. But it always comes back.